Hello everyone, I'm 100% me, aka Percy, and today I've got an update to my Datapack Percy Sewing Kit. Now this update is so incredibly big and I'm so excited about it that I'm going to make an entire showcase video from scratch. So even if you're new to this Datapack, this is a really good place to start. Percy Sewing Kit is a data pack that lets you add your own custom models to items in a really easy way. But not only that, you can also have custom armor and elytra, as you can see right here. Now, of course, in this video, I'll show you exactly how to do that. But before we get started, it is worth noting that this data pack is very much a bring your own resource pack type of deal. Meaning that you get to add your own custom models and custom armor. That being said, your resource pack does need to be set up in a certain way, especially the armor does, for it to work properly with this data pack. And to help you out and get you started on that, I have included an example resource pack, which you can find down below. Whoosh. Alright, now it's time to get started with Percy's Sewing Kit. And here is one of the big changes. The Sewing Kit is now actually a craftable item. And to craft Percy's Sewing Kit, what you need is a pair of shears, some string, you'll need lapis lazuli, and a bundle, and make sure that it's a regular brown one. Now once you've got all those items, you can throw them into a crafting table just like this, and this is a shapeless crafting recipe, so it doesn't really matter where you put them, and out of it comes a sewing kit. It's a bundle with some very special items inside. So let's take it out, shall we? Now the items inside here are sewing shears, let's put it over there. There is sewing string, let's put that over there, and then finally there is shimmering lapis lazuli, let's also put that right there. Now that we've got these out of the bundle, let's go through these items and what they do, starting with the sewing shears. Whoosh. The sewing shears let you change the model of any item to the model of any other item. So let me go ahead and grab any random item here. Oh, let's do a skulk vein, why not? It's random enough. Let's grab it. Now what we do is we go into an anvil and rename it to a namespace idea of any item that we have. So that could be a Minecraft item, for which we would have to use the Minecraft namespace, colon. And let's just pick an item that I can see on my screen, armor stand. There we go. Now this is renamed Minecraft colon armor stand. Now don't worry if you don't fully understand the concept of these namespace IDs. It's essentially a way for Minecraft to store all of its assets. And what we've just done is we've pointed it to a Minecraft asset, right? That's the Minecraft part of it. And then we want the armor stand, so that's the armor stand right behind there. Now what we can do here, we put this in our offhand, the skulk with the special name. And then we take the sewing shears and we just right click with them. Look at that, as you can see now, the skulk vein looks like an armor stand. And that right there is the key word, looks. It only looks like the armor stand. It isn't really an armor stand. We've only changed its appearance. And so that means that if I place this on the ground, I still just get the skulk, right? But just to demonstrate that you can take any item that you like and apply any item model to it. And that includes custom item models from your own resource pack. Let's get rid of the skulk vein. And grab another random item. Wow, copper bulb, why not? So like I've said, I've included an example resource pack. So let's grab an asset from there. You see this cap in the background? Let's do that. So for my example resource pack, the namespace is example. And then the asset itself is cap. So if I take this out and I put this into my offhand, I click the shears, you can see that the copper bulb now looks like that cap over there, which is really cool. But if I place it, of course, it's still copper bulb. It's a cap. You would expect that I would be able to place it onto my head, but you know, it's still a copper bulb and you cannot place copper bulbs on your head. Let's get rid of this one, because I have a solution for this. If I go and find a helmet is of course an item that you can wear on your head. And I put it in the crafting table, just like this. I call it example cap, just like I did before. I take it out, I put this into my offhand and then trigger the shears again, right click him. You can see it looks like the cap again. And then if I put it onto my head, as you can see, we now have the cap on our heads. Isn't that cool? Now again, this looks like a cap, but it is still of course the base item that we used, which is a netherite helmet, which means that if I take it off and I put it in the enchanting table over here, this can be enchanted like a netherite helmet, because it is a netherite helmet. In fact, if I go into survival, you can see if I equip it, down at the bottom there, we get the armor points for it. And so I can have a custom model on my head and still get all the benefits of it being a helmet, which I think is really cool. So in summary, the sewing shears change item models. Now let's talk about the sewing string. Whoosh. Now before we talk about the sewing string, it's important to understand that Minecraft makes a distinction between item models, which of course is this over here, but also this and this and this and this, and equipment models, which is, for example, this Elytra over here, or this really neat dino onesie that you can see. If I grab a helmet, I think that's the best way to demonstrate. This here, what you're looking at, is an item model. And the item model is what lives inside inventories. If I now put this on top of my head, just like this, you can see it kind of has a different shape to it, doesn't it? This one over here, it kind of wraps around my head, whereas this one is fairly flat, right? So this is an item model, and this, what you see on my player, is an equipment asset. And so the difference between the sewing shears and the sewing string is that the sewing shears change item models, and the sewing string, they change equipment assets. Let's go see how that works, shall we? Whoosh. So if I were to grab myself an Elytra, just like this, and I rename it to this example : dragon wings, which are wings that I've included in the example resource pack. Let's take these out. If I put this into my offhand and use the sewing string to trigger it, you can see it updates in my offhand. And then if I equip it just like that, my Elytra now looks like dragon wings. Isn't that cool? So as you can see, this way we can get custom equipment assets such as custom wings and custom armor. So included in the example pack, I do have this set of armor over here, which is an example of just regular old armor, but we can do something really special here because we can also set up this armor to be dyeable, for which of course as a base item we need leather armor. So let's do example dino_onesie. Not to be confused with this set, because this set cannot be dyed and this one actually can. And so as you can see, I have now applied the special name to all the pieces of armor. And so if I put this in my offhand and trigger the string, it changes, as you can see. Let's do that for all of them. There we go, just like that. Let's grab some dyes. Green is kind of my favorite color, so let's grab green. Just put that in there and just dye all of these. As you can see, if I put this on now, it's dyeable. It's dyed. It's now green. And I have a green dino onesie. Very comfy. Very nice. So to summarize, the sewing string changes equipment assets. And it is worth noting that equipment assets not only include stuff for the player like armor and Elytra, but also for other animals like wolf armor, horse armor, happy ghast harnesses, llamas, they can have carpets on them, all the saddles as well. So there is a lot you can do with this. Whoosh. Finally, we have the Shimmering Lapis. And what that does, it's really simple. If you take any item at all, you put that in your offhand and you right click the Shimmering Lapis, you will notice that the item in your offhand starts shimmering a little bit. It now has the enchantment glint. And this acts as a toggle so you can turn it on, but also off again. And you can do this for any item. So if I grab, for example, an enchantment bottle, which has the enchantment glint by default, and you know what, a book as well. Let's just do that. You can see now it doesn't have the enchantment glint anymore. Same goes for the enchanted book. As you can see now it doesn't have the glint anymore. And you can turn it back on again. Now the big reason that I added this is my super nice custom model, right? It's actually the netherite helmet that we made a little earlier in the video, and we gave it the cap model. But if I equip it personally, I don't want the enchantment glint on all of my custom models, even when I enchant it. And well, obviously this has been enchanted, and so it has the enchantment glint. And so if I put this into my offhand and I trigger the Shimmering Lapis, you can see now it doesn't have the glint anymore. It still has the enchantment, fire protection, and it will still work exactly the same, only it won't show the enchantment glint, which I do prefer for this particular custom model. And for those of you wondering, yes, you can totally put the Shimmering Lapis in your offhand and then trigger it, which toggles the enchantment glint for the item itself. It's possible, it's a thing, you can do it. And so that concludes this showcase video for Percy's Sewing Kit. Percy's Sewing Kit is available to download from Modrinth. There will be a link in this video's description. I hope that you've enjoyed. I cannot wait what cool things you're all going to make with this data pack. And well, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.